So what you now have, you're live. It says. All right, we have a hot mic situation going on right now.
Yeah, but I still can't. I still can't see the live feed on YouTube.
Refresh.
I am refreshing. Oh, there I am. There we are. So now I found us. I just like to keep refreshing.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Where do I find the? I forgot where to find the link. Oh, share. That's right. Go up to share.
Oh my god.
Copy. What?
Well, no. It's just that. Have you seen the delay? Oh my god. It was 16 seconds before. It's 23 now.
It's okay. You know, people will still file in. I would hope. But we already got 5 people checking in.
Oh, nice one. I'm only gonna record from the cold open onwards, though, mate.
That's fine. That's fine. All right, listeners, we are live for our first ever YouTube stream.
La 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 la. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather.
Here's our first YouTube stream. Come join us in this monumental undertaking. Oh, by the way, I know they can't see it yet, but I have my blue milk.
You got blue milk. I'm boring. I just got ice water. I was going to do a drink, but then I remembered I've got to push lots of buttons. So I thought alcohol might not mix with, controlling
doing the first show.
I didn't want to be intoxicated. You see, the thing is, I can be intoxicated for talking, Mando, because I have no responsibility other than the words that come out of my mouth, but I have more responsibility here. So
you do have more responsibility, right?
I have considerably more responsibility. Oh. Yes. See, this is the only problem with countdowns, is waiting for the countdown. Because you can be sat there ready.
Is the hardest part.
That's why I when I first made a countdown on my main channel, I started at 15 minutes, and it was like, yeah, no, I can't sit here and wait for 15 minutes. So, and then I cut it down to 5, and then I'm still sat there thinking, you know what? I don't need any more time. I'm ready. I should just go live.
Nice. Now, according to the screen, it's 2 minutes, but according to my phone, how long do we got here?
We have 1 minute and 36 seconds. Don't worry.
30 seconds.
I'll be cutting our mic in. I'll be cutting our mic, so that I can tell you when we're going live. So
yeah, that's all right.
I'll cut our mics so that we can still talk. Obviously. But
11 listeners, 11 viewers right now. Is a good start to a countdown. Everybody's enjoying the countdown. Oh, by the way, I think we need to cut our mics right now, don't we?
Yes, we do.
All right. I'll see you in the studio, Nev.
I'll see you in the studio, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, this is the one and only 4-strong one from the Escape Pod Castaways, planet of Dathomir. The Escape Pod cast was recorded in front of a live studio audience. Paul, Nev, take it away.
One is a Grand Arena specialist from the UK. The other is a territory battle tactician from the US. Together, there are no signs of intelligent life on board. With both having played this game since launch, the one thing we are sure of is that you will be entertained. The Escape Pod Cast, a service of the Escape Pod Castaways. A weekly podcast about the mobile game Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Live from the network studios of Yavin 4, here are your hosts, Neil Andrew Eyre and Paul Anthony.
Coming up on this week's edition of the Escape Pod Cast.
I rejoin the show and take my rightful place right next to you, Nev.
This is what you're going to lead off with?
Sure, why not? I just spent a week on Batuu. I'm refreshed, my friend.
Isn't there something more monumental than you taking a week off to talk about?
You mean that I also built a saber, I also built a droid, I bought a Kowakian monkey lizard,
No. Don't you notice something different about the show?
Oh, you mean this camera in front? There's a camera in front of me! Neil! It's our first YouTube show!
Yes, we are, mate. We got a year to look forward to, and the Patreons also give us their top 10 wish lists of 2020.
That's right. I cover my 2019 loves and hates. We also build the checklist of what to hold CG accountable for in 2020. And right now, we are live with this new format of the Escape Pod Cast.
The Escape Pod Cast News.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome into this first live YouTube edition of the Escape Podcast. We've done other shows where we've been live before, but this is the first time that we've put on clothes while doing our show. And for those that are listening in on the podcast, don't imagine that. I'm sorry. So anyway, we will be putting this on podcast for those who are our faithful podcast listeners. We thank you very much. But we also, I have to my left the listener lounge. In front of me, I've got the YouTube chat. Guys, it's a pleasure to have you. Neil, how are you feeling behind the board? You know, I've done all the production. It's you to do all the magic now.
I know them. It's wow. I'm in charge of all of the magic. So I can push buttons, and make noises and bring up commercials, and so I could you could be like mid rant and I could just cut to a commercial.
You could,
yeah,
and then I'd have to push you out an airlock.
Yeah, you'd have to shoot me out of an airlock. Okay, maybe I won't cut to a commercial when you're mid rant on something. Then that would probably not go down too well. So yes, so hello from me. Hello to everybody in chat. I won't be watching you as much as I would like to, because I do have some wizardry and finger key type responsibilities, but I can see you on my phone in front of me, so don't worry. If you've got any questions or if you want to say something, I will be able to see it, I'm sure, at some point.
So we do have a quick question from Richard Deutsch. We average about 1,000, including YouTube and the podcast apps. So, we enjoy it.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And hello, Cody. How do you do? How are you doing, mate? Fellow Illinoisian or Illinois? I have no idea.
Illinois.
Illinoisan or something like that. Yes. So hello there, Cody. Hello to Champagne from Bourbonnais, Illinois. So yes, yeah, it's very, very interesting. Right. It's quite cool seeing all of this.
So let's go ahead and get into it. I didn't get my chance last week to go into my thoughts on 2019. We started out 2019 with all these marquees, right? Marquee after marquee, getting ready for Revan, getting ready for Darth Revan, getting ready for Malik. I enjoyed that time, to be honest with you, to be able to put forward getting these characters and being able to have something to farm. Now with it being so slow in that, it we have the Y-Wing. The Y-Wing is the only thing that I didn't say, you know, I'm going to go ahead and hit that button. You know, so I'm looking forward to farming something again when the Y-Wing comes out. And, you know, the problems that they had after when they brought Malik back for the first time. Or no, was it the second time or the first time, Neil?
Well, they brought him back quite soon the first time around. I think it was they brought him back. It was they brought him back. There was a long gap and then there was a short gap.
Right,
and that was because I mean my prediction at the time was that because both Revans were required for Malik, that it was going to be a new way that they were going to do things that year. Because before, in 2018 and 2017, they would always bring out the character. They would always bring out the events you needed before the hero's journey or before the legendary. So they would bring out your R2 before CLS, and they would bring out your BB-8 before your JTR. And I figured that they would do a Malik event again after a Darth Revan, and then they would alternate it. So they bring out Malik after Darth Revan, and then after a Jedi Knight Revan, and that they would alternate it like that. And that's exactly what they did. But what it did was it completely threw the cadence out. So where people were expecting it once every 3 months, there was a 1 month gap, and then there was a 5 month gap. So it kind of threw people for a loop. So that probably wasn't one of CG's shining moments of 2019. But I agree with you from the beginning of the year up to when Darth Revan came out. It was a very, very nice purple period. And it was good because so many people got Darth Revan for free. And it was because they followed the exact same pattern for Darth Revan that they did for Jedi Knight Revan. So as soon as they started releasing those marquees, everybody was like, okay, this is for Darth Revan. So everybody instantly started farming them. And when Darth Revan came out, everybody was ready. And more people got Darth Revan free to play the first time around than Jedi Knight Revan free to play the first time around. And then they kind of realized, crap, we're not going to make any money off Darth Revan. We best roll out Malik quick so that we can make some. And that was that. You know, that was a kind of a spanner in the works. It wasn't something I think that the community particularly liked, because it made Malik a pay-to-play character, and it didn't give the free-to-play community. It didn't give a lot of the free-to-play community the real opportunity to get Malik free to play that first time around. And then obviously we had a much longer wait the next time.
Right. And we're going to have him in the Journey Guide eventually.
Yes, he will be in the Journey Guide.
I'm betting the next release, because they did put Darth Revan in the Journey
Guide. Yeah, they
Guide.
broke that. They said it was going to be after 12 months, but they broke that rule straight away by putting Darth Revan in there.
Well, just for Darth Revan, because of Darth Revan's relevance in my opinion. So I don't think that was too much of a breaking the rule as much of them just saying, okay, we're going to go ahead and do that. So I wasn't too bothered by that, to be honest with you, Neil.
I'm a million miles away from that in the Journey Guide anyway, so I don't really care.
Right. But they had problems twice.
Oh God, yeah, with the
Malik. And it was so infuriating for me because I was right on the precipice of unlocking him. Not unlocking him, but getting him to 7 stars. They took him away from the shard shop and they put him back, and then they took him away from the shard shop and they put him back. Finally, when they put him back for the second time after the second snafu, I finally got him to 7 stars.
And so the event being bugged, I mean, the thing was the event being bugged that time where everybody was able to do it and get the shards again. Nobody was complaining about that bug. No one was complaining about it at that time because everybody was logging in, doing it again, and getting their 7-star Revans, knowing probably full well that it was going to get taken back off them. And then CG rewarded everybody that didn't do what they asked, and didn't reward the people that did do what they asked, which was my major bugbear when that issue happened earlier on this year. But they did around about that time. It kind of got swept under the carpet because if you remember, the what they did around about the time they brought out Malik, that was when they kicked off with the GAC, Grand Arena Championships, and I think that was probably one of the other reasons why they wanted to rush out Malik, because the exhibition month of GAC was around about that time. And they wanted as many people thinking, oh yeah, let's wail on this character because I want this character in my roster for GAC, even though it was just an exhibition. So there was a money grab element to it from a GAC point of view as well. Not that anyone was fussed, because I remember when they, introduced it, and that exhibition was. I loved the exhibition because I got Kaiba during that exhibition, and it took me like 3 GACs.
That's when you got hooked on the Kaiba.
Yeah, got hooked on the Kaiba. So everybody got hooked on the Kaiba. But excellent. One of the best things that they did, without a doubt, the best thing they did in 2019 was bringing in the GAC. And yes, there was cheating, and we know about the APK hacks that occurred and that were occurring. I mean, I remember watching a DB official live stream and watching someone using an APK hack while he was. In battle, live. It was happening. It happened live on Twitch. I remember watching it because we're all looking at it, going, "How the hell did his opponent just?" Yeah. So I've actually seen it happening.
I do remember that.
Saw it happen live. So there's something about knowing it happening, kind of like from an abstract, in the abstract, it happens, it occurs, but to actually physically see it happen to, a fellow streamer and a fellow gamer live, there's just something to be, there's something to be to be said about that. So that was definitely that. And then obviously as 2009 progressed, we got more and more buggy issues. Sorry, 2019, we got more and more. I mean, 2019 was definitely the year of the bug. And, CG has no one to blame but themselves. I mean, they were the ones that mothballed the Game Changers program. I mean, apparently there's some beta tester program going, but, I mean, clearly it's not being utilized in the way that it should be.
It's an NDA-based beta testing program, so even if somebody's in the beta testing program, they can't say they're in the beta testing program, so we don't know. But we did have a bunch of different things where we saw the release of both Geonosian territory battles.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
The Dark Side I absolutely loved. It's tough. It is tough. But when they put out the light side territory battles and they put they ramped up that difficulty so much that you and I and a bunch of our Padawans decided that we're going to try to send a message to return to Hoth, and bring us back. We put out the video. We gathered the videos of other members, of our community, and I know that they've said that they heard us. Whether or not they do anything, that's going to be the question, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, all we can do is ask the question. The next time they do a Q&A, I think as many of us as possible should spam that question. Did you hear us when we went back to Hoth? Did you hear us when we returned to Hoth? You said that you wouldn't do anything proactively, that you would only be reactive. Are you going to react based on what the community did during that, one specific territory battle? So all we can do is ask them in the Q&A, was it enough? Did it affect the metrics sufficiently enough for them to do something about it? We won't know. I mean, we might know when they do the light side. I mean, obviously we're doing the dark side TB at the moment. So it's possible we won't know until the light side TB kicks in. If that light side GOTB kicks in and people find it, even a skosh bit easier, then we'll know that they've silently done something, and we can show a little bit of gratitude. Because if they do change it and it has been made a little bit easier, we have to kind of we have to show the consummate amount of gratitude. Because if we don't, they'll be like, oh, so you complain we changed it? What? No thanks. It's like, I'm not suggesting we kiss their ass or anything like that, or get down and lick the boot.
I'm not groveling to have them change it. I would like them to change it, and they said if they see enough, they will change it. So I'm hoping they heard us. I'm hoping they really did. Real quick, I know we're also doing the audio version, and for the podcast people that are listening in, we do have a live YouTube chat going as well. I'm going to post a question, and then I have a comment on the YouTube chat. Vormax wants to know if you think that somebody should still focus on Phoenix first, or if they should be going for Geos as a first jump now that the journey guide is available. Where do you think that people should go, Phoenix or Geos, to start out their time?
Is this person free to play, or is this person buying the hyperdrive bundle? Because if they're not buying the hyperdrive bundle, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
Because if they're not 85, they can't do Padme.
If they're not buying the hyperdrive bundle, if they're just going free to play, it is irrelevant, because they will be irrelevant in both the fleet and the squad arena unless they buy the hyperdrive bundle. So going Phoenix or Geo, totally irrelevant. If you're just going to go free to play, then you may as well go for Phoenix and passively farm your Geos for when you go live in fleet. But by the time you go live in fleet at level 60, there will already be people in there at level 85 with 5-star ships.
Yeah. Now, of course, there's DL Kobe says Geos will get you Padme and Phoenix will get you Thrawn, but
and Palpatine.
And Palpatine, but you do have to remember, they make it to the point where you have to be 85 before you can do a lot of these journey guide things.
Yeah, and you can't get the Game Boy Advanced without being level 85. So you could go for Geos, but someone else that goes for Geos and buys the hyperdrive bundle is immediately going to be able to farm the Game Boy Advance. And they'll be able to have a 5 Geo squad instead of a 4 Geo squad.
Now, a group of people have started with Macias. Macias, one of our very own, the official remodder of the Escape Podcast, chimed in. He says, "Oh, I like this with the new format. I like this a lot." And then a lot of people chimed in, including people that you and I look up to, man. Clash, DOE, Force Strong, Helenix, all them chiming in with "This is the way." So. I certainly enjoy that. Daddy-O in the listener lounge having problems with YouTube. I'm sorry you're having problems with YouTube. We will. We're still working out things. And Daddy-O, I do see the listener lounge to my left, so don't worry. You will not be missed if there's something that you do want to say.
No man left behind. No man left behind.
No man left behind, guys. I mean, those in our Discord server, you guys were the first. You guys supported us to start this thing. We are not going to leave you behind. So now, if I were to give CG a grade for 2019, you guys gave them D minuses, and you gave them an E. That's not even a grade here in the US, by the way. I'm gonna give them a D plus, to be honest with you. As somebody who has spent some money in this game, I enjoyed, being one of the first to get my clan or my guild or whatever it's called. Right now, I'm nervous because we're on camera for the first time. I was happy to be one of the first to get our guild a Watt shard. So when I went all in the stuff that I saved up for the GBA and all that, and relics, it was fun. I truly did have fun, but it was painful. They pass, and I'm going to give them a passing grade with a plus, but it wasn't average. This was a hard year when you take it all together.
Yeah, when you put it all together, yes, definitely.
It was a great year. They started out to me. They started out at like a B- at
easily. Started off very, very well, but it just they went up and then it plateaued, and that and then it just slowly just went So it was on the up and up, and then we got past that first quarter and it plateaued, and it just kind of started tailing off and going down. And you got to remember that it wasn't just the Malik that threw people off. It was the relics. It was the Gear 13.
To me, it was the bugs. It was the bugs, and I'm not talking Geonosians.
Well, lots of different things threw lots of different people off.
All right. Well, Neil, I've given my 2019 year in review. Let's take a break, and on the other side, we're going to gather up all the stuff that has been promised to us this next year, or this year, if you will, and we're going to make our checklist and see if they adhere to it next time around. What do you say?
I say yes.
All right. We're going to be right back. Let's see if you can hit the buttons right here, Neil. We'll be right back. Don't forget to mute us on the Escape Pod cast.
The Escape Pod cast with Paul Anthony and Neil Andrew Ware.
Micaeus Modding Mayhem is the premier remodding service for the game that we all love, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. With some of the most affordable rates in the industry, Micaeus will rebuild your roster from top to bottom and give you consultation on where to go from there. Micaeus has a 100% satisfaction guarantee and lots of useful additional services, including a full cleanup of your mods, loadout pages, PvP plans and more. Contact Micaeus today on Discord at all lowercase Micaeus number 0127. That's MIKAYAS number 0127, or at micaeusmods@gmail.com. Micaeus Modding Mayhem, the official remodding service of the Escape Pod cast.
Did you know that if you signed up to become a Patreon, you could get tons of rewards? Force Ghost Scotty could do a roster review for you. Neil Andrew Ware could share Grand Arena tactics. Or Paul could even help you get maximum stars in Geonosis Territory Battle. And you even get access into the after show. Sound good? Sign up to be a Patreon today. For as little as $2 a month, you could unlock a ton of potential content and also get closer to the hosts. Head to patreon.com/theescapepod to sign up.
Hey Padawans, Llama here. What do you think? Does the video look good on me? I think it does. But I'm back for a special sneak preview. I wanted to make a pretty awesome announcement. We are bringing the Escape Pod Cast for Kids to YouTube. That's right. It's getting its very own YouTube channel. All of Neil's episodes are going to be on there. All of my story times are going to be on there. All archived. Past and future episodes. We're really, really excited about it. A lot of you guys have been asking for it, to be able to look back and listen to the past story times and retain those tips. And we're really, really, really excited to be able to share this with you guys. The YouTube channel is coming soon. We're in the process of putting it all together, and we're hoping to have it out to you in the next couple of weeks. But we wanted to share it with you in this week's episode. That's all from me. Tune in next week.
And now time for something completely shameless.
Codename Llama to Agent N00B. This is Codename Llama to Agent N00B. Do you copy? TEPCON Command has new orders for you. Do you copy?
Agent N00B copies. Proceed with updated orders, Master Llama.
The investigation into the murder of Scotty McLaren has ended. Your mission to tail suspect Hellenix is no longer necessary. You are hereby released from the services of TEPCON Command.
Master, these orders do not compute. Hellenics has not yet been exonerated. My datasets are incomplete. Further investigation is required.
Agent N00B, I don't have time to discuss this with some noob droid committee. These are your new orders. You are being discharged. You are no longer an agent of TEPCON Command. Hellenics is your new master now, and you will serve him well. Codename Llama, out.
Master. Peculiar. Signal lost. Data set. Incomplete. Orders do not compute. Recalculating. Violation of Prime Directive. Recalculating. Error. Recalculating. Must complete Prime Directive. Recalculating. Unicode number 2260. Recalculating. Logic error. Recalculating. Must solve logic error discovered in updated orders.
Hey there, NOOB. Did I just hear you practicing on how you are to address me? Huh? Were you just practicing how to say the word master? I could have sworn I heard you practicing, huh? Who's a good little droid? Wait, NOOB, are you even listening to me? Hey. Hey, yo. Droid. You feeling alright there, NOOB?
Greetings, Hellenics. I am a droid. I am incapable of having feelings. My processors perform
calculations,
which may have the appearance of feelings to sentient beings such as yourself. Droids are more advanced than sentients, and therefore do not require feelings in order to properly function.
Okay, then. Why don't you run a self-diagnostic on that old bundle of wires you call a central processor, just so we're sure you aren't experiencing any more serious issues.
Understood, and will comply. Hellenics.
Just when you thought he was gonna say master.
What are you planning on doing today, if I may ask, Hellenics?
Same thing I do every Friday night, newbie. Get myself caught up on Discord, play me some Swuggo, work on some content for my YouTube channel. Hashtag shameless self-promotion. And of course, tune into The Escape Pod Cast with your hosts, Paul Anthony and Neil Andrew Eyre. Take it away, boys. I got a recliner with my name on it and a podcast to continue listening to. NOOB? Carry on, I guess.
Suspect, Hellenics. Suspected of the murder of Scotty McLaren. Guilty until proven innocent. Discharge orders invalid. Prime Directive being rewritten. Hellenics must be proven innocent. Or recalculating. Hellenics must be destroyed.
The Escape Pod Cast.
And we're back live right now on the second segment of the Escape Pod Cast. I absolutely love those Hellenics bits, to be honest with you.
You want to know something? I still haven't heard it because I've been cutting backwards and forwards and editing it into that, and I can't listen to it while I'm queuing it up because it'll just screw me up. I literally can't, so I'll have to play that back later and listen to it. So I'm sure it's excellent. I'm sure it's excellent.
Oh, it will be fun. The he no longer has that other droid that he had.
Yeah.
So
he has Noob now because he's a cheapskate
now. All right. Well, so we've been promised a few things in 2020 by Capital Games, and it's the thing that we want to do is we want to see if what they've said for things that have pretty much been confirmed or that they've speculated towards will truly come to fruition. On one of the later episodes of this year, we'll go back, we'll listen, we'll play back this part, and we'll see if we got all of these, if they hit all of these. Now, one of the things that comes to mind off the bat is from their last Q&A. They said, somebody said, "The Mandalorian, I have spoken," and they said at that time that they have no current plans to bring them out, but sometime later next year. Of course, they said that last year. So that means, do you feel comfortable in putting Mandalorian down, Neil, as one of the things that they're going to bring this year?
Well, I mean, it would be foolish of them not to. It would be foolish of them not to. But the thing is, we're not going to get anything new until they transition out of this episode 9 period. Because in the same Q&A, that's what they said that they were doing. They were transitioning from Clone Wars to the episode 9. And that the episode 9 stuff was going to be their focus, that they would then transition back out of again at the end of the first quarter. So, it'd be nice if they could throw something in there. I think it would be silly if they don't, but they're so behind schedule on the episode 9 stuff that, whether we get anything new at the end of the first quarter is debatable, because we were supposed to get this new Galactic Legend stuff in December, and we didn't get it. We got three marquee characters.
I don't think that was ever meant. That was never meant, this Galactic Legend stuff. That was never meant to be this year. And I never took it as this year. They just
they said that they wanted to roll it out in December, but that they didn't. I'm sure they said in a forum post that they wanted to roll it out but didn't.
I'll have to look it up another time.
No, I'll have to look it up another time.
I don't think they ever said that they wanted to put it out in December. They put out a post saying it's not coming in December. So, you didn't think that something new was going to hit right before the new year. And it's way too close to the beginning of the, it's way too close to the release of the movie to put out so many things. They don't have enough characters. And if we take...
Oh, yeah, no, they do.
No, they don't.
You need 15. It's 15 characters for each of the it's 15 characters for the new Rey and 15 characters for the new Kylo Ren. And there are already double digits of each faction, the Resistance.
But they're not farmable. They're not farmable. They haven't hit the cadence to be able to be farmable.
Yeah, no, most of them are. You roll them off. So you've got BB-8, you've got C-3PO, you've got R2-D2, you've got Scavenger Ray, Finn, Rose Tico. Obviously, JTR is an event one. Then you've got Poe Dameron. You've got Major Tom. There's 9. Then you've got the new Finn. So, I mean, there's double digits. And it's not just... I don't think it's just going to be characters. It's also going to be ships. So you've got the Resistance ships as well. And that takes you to the 15 slots.
Where's our Resistance and First Order capital ships? They said that they're coming. That I'm adding to the list. Agreed?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Definitely. You can definitely add a Resistance and First Order capital ship. They did say that those were going to be coming. So that's something I think that we should definitely be holding CG2 in 2020. All right.
So Resistance and First Order ships. Mm-hmm. One thing that you wanted to make sure that we added, we get the ship raid as well on top of those ships. And then on top of that, speaking of raids, you wanted to make sure that we added being able to sim the tank raid.
Yeah. That is something that they said they definitely want to do, and that it is something that they plan on doing in 2020. They weren't specific. They just said, we'll do it next year. It is, it's a foregone conclusion. It's set in stone. They're going to do it. They just don't know when. And we've got, we now have the ability. Some people have the ability to solo heroic tank with one squad, and that's kind of the benchmark for a raid. If one squad can solo an entire heroic raid, that should be the benchmark. As soon as that happens, then you've got to consider the raid done and dusted. You may as well sim it, because everybody just has to, follow that one person's example, and hey presto, one person out of a 50 guild group of accounts only needs to do it. So you may as well sim it, give maximum rewards to everybody, do it just like the Rancor heroic pit raid. 10 GK shards to everybody and make it some decent gear.
8.
8? Why?
8. I would say 8 GK shards, based on the level, the same that you were getting for pit raid and things like that. I definitely think 8 will be correct. And I would say, given about the same level of, what's the word? The rewards, the currency and things like that.
Yeah. Just level it out. Just make it because there's so much other stuff that people need to prepare for. You've got GAC running every single month. You need to do a lot more prep for territory battles now, especially if you're doing the Geo ones. Not so much if you're doing the Hoth ones. Most people, if you're doing Hoth, you go in, you set, you hit auto because you've got decent enough roster and decent enough squads. I know that's what I did, and I cleared everything.
Right.
It's easy. You full clear everything because they're old and it's easier to do, especially when you've got better gear and higher gear levels. So it does make life, and better characters. You've got, if everybody's got Treyas and everybody's got Darth Revans and everybody's got everything. Everyone's got everything. So it does make life easier. But
Dr. Gonzo mentions soloing the HAAT with Shock T clones is fun, but he doesn't like having to tap the screen to get to the next phase. That's as auto as you can get. Every once in a while you actually have to pay attention so that you don't go over that hour when somebody does that. Now, Vormax says, Vormax has another question. Vormax throwing all the questions at us today. Did you guys realize that Phasma was not mentioned in episode 9, nor BB-8, or whatever the name of the First Order Black Droid, that was BB-9E? And are both fan favorites, like they call, like so-called traitor from episode 7. Yeah, I've mentioned it before, Vormax. I'm a huge Phasma fan. I enjoyed the book. I really enjoyed the presence of Captain Phasma, but I was sad that we didn't see her, cheat death like so many great villains of the past.
Yeah, well, will she stand the test of time? If she's as popular in 20 years, or 20 or 30 years, as Greedo was 20, 30 years after his, when you consider how much screen time Greedo had.
And she's great in Resistance, by the way. She is great in Resistance, but Neil doesn't watch those.
Yes,
Neil
literally.
does not like new canon.
No.
I embrace new canon because I can then, actually talk and from a current perspective instead of going, back before the acquisition of Disney, being able to speak factual instead of mythical, Neil, is my coup d'etat.
Oh, yeah, just.
No, Timothy Zahn did not write Phasma, but it was still a good.
This is real, proper fan fiction. See, no legends written on the book.
Well, I mean, that's because you got the version before they did that. Anyway, we're digressing. Yes,
we are.
So back to the stuff. We've got the raid. We've got the raids. We've got
the raid is
we've got Mando.
The raid, the biggest thing, and the one thing that they must be held to is a ship raid. I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I will speak for people that have conversed with me in the in the sentiment that I would forego everything else if they give us a Death Star ship raid. They give us a Death Star ship raid, they can come on this show and I will kiss their ass. CG Top Hat can come on this show, I'll kiss his ass. Give us the damn ship raid before, and don't leave it to the end of the year. Give it to us halfway through the year so that we've got then, because when nobody's going to complete it first time, no one's going to complete it straight away. People are going to be like theory crafting and warriors. The man when it comes to ships, and I hope that it's just Ian, because I do love his theory crafting. I hope that it's just Ian and Warrior work on the ship theory crafting so that they can get those guides out once the raid is out, so that people can start working on the squads, just like people did, just like McMull did with the various different teams for the heroic tank a couple of years ago. He was one of those people that was theory crafting and putting out, this is what you need to do for these phases, because that's what we're going to need, and that's why they need to bring it out early so that we get 6 months of solid fun working out what is needed in order to complete the various different phases of a Death Star ship raid. But they've got to do it, and if they do that, what are you flashing up on that screen? Something is crazy. It's not Nevis. Nev is crazy. Nev is
crazy. Yeah, I was trying to.
No. Nev is not crazy. Nev is passionate. Passionate.
Nev is
the word. It's passion.
And that's
passion.
And that's why you are a great. That's why you're a great co-host.
But that's the be all and end all for 2020 will be the ship raid. If we get to the end of 2020 and there's no ship raid, they'll get an F from me. Doesn't matter how good everything else is, it'll be an F.
They could give you everything that you want to give you Legends canon.
Oh no! I mean, no. If they gave me EU character, I mean, if they threw Mara Jade Skywalker in this game, I'd be like, whoa, yes.
But if there's no ship raid, Nev is going to give them an F.
Yes, but if there's no ship raid, it'll be all that goodwill gone out the window. So yes, I want a ship raid, and it has to be a Death Star.
Yeah, and Ray Rock, by the way, great to see you, Ray Rock.
Hello, buddy.
He does say, don't forget Black Mamba. Mamba is wonderful at ships. I love ships. I'm hoping that I can theory craft when it comes time.
Yes, Zed, it is an A for Anarchy. It was one of the first things I made out of pom-poms. I prefer the term voluntarist, but I didn't have any yellow and black wool at the time. I only had red, so had to be a red A.
All right. So, is there anything else that they've mentioned? Because we're going to get into characters coming, and we'll talk Mando coming up in the fourth segment in the bridge, because we have the Patreon top 10 coming up.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing really comes to mind. There's nothing nothing that sticks out there that came across in previous Q&As. I think most people, most people are wanting, that most people are just wanting new characters. They're wanting some new marquees, some new characters, some new Clone Wars stuff. When they mop up after the conclusion of the final series, some Mando stuff, which is absolutely necessary. Obviously, the introduction of these new galactic legends, tank raid, Simmable, and the ship raid. Apart from that, I can't think of anything else. I mean, if we're forgetting anything, feel free to jog our memories in chat. But that was pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah. So anyway, coming up after this break, you're going to get into story time with the llama, and then we have the Galaxy's Edge interview of Nev to me, because as you guys know, I spent a week on Batuu, and I ended up doing a lot of stuff with the thanks to a lot of my trivia players for helping me get to Galaxy's Edge. At the expense of my trivia sponsor. That's all I could say about that on this stream. So anyway, Nev, you ready to push a bunch of buttons?
Oh yeah, ready to push a bunch of buttons.
All right, we'll be right back on the Escape Pod cast.
The Escape Pod Cast with Paul Anthony and Neil Andrew Ware.
Hey everyone, this is Biscuit Weasel here, coming live to you from the Escape Pod Cast Content Creators Network. I'm sure some of you have seen my latest videos about General Kenobi countering the Millennium Falcon and Rebel fleets, as well as my top 10 Zeta videos for newer players. But I want to help you guys personally. If you head on over to patreon.com/biscuitweasel, that's Weasel with a Z, to check out my new Patreon rewards. And while they last, the first 10 people to sign up at the $10 level will get the whole $30 package for their first month for free. That's patreon.com/biscuitweasel. Remember, that's with a Z.
The Escape Pod Cast now offers our faithful listeners a way to show their support via merchandise. Declare your allegiance to Team Paul or Team Neil with official shirts. Get a story time with the llama button or magnet. Or just represent the show by getting an official logo hoodie. There are now even Team Scotty and Team Heinze options available too. Become an official Padawan today. Check out the merch at escapepodcastaways.com.
Hello friends, this is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I approve this message, and am compensated for signups for this service.
The world's largest audiobook library is at your fingertips, and the Escape Pod Castaways wants you to try it for free. Head on over to escapepodcastaways.com and click the Going Nerdy offer button to claim a free audiobook and 2 Audible originals. Cancel anytime, and it's absolutely free to sign up. Check out Audible and support the Escape Pod Castaways, all for free. See Audible website for details.
Back to school. The Escape Pod Cast for Kids. It's really cool.
Hello and welcome back, Escape Padawans, to Storytime with the Llama and the Escape Pod Cast for Kids. Happy New Year, Padawans, and welcome to 2020. But before I really begin, let me just say, Neil, Paul, the live stream looks fantastic on you boys. I might have to try it out myself someday soon. But for now, this week, we're taking a bit of a break from our regularly scheduled storytime for a pretty awesome announcement. Now, I'm all about the hashtag New Year New Llama, so starting next week, we're actually going to be doing our first ever series on Storytime called Holotable Hero. Every week, I'll be taking you through each of the different tables in the game and breaking them down to help all of you master them. It's going to be the most comprehensive look at the game we've taken so far, and I'm really excited about it. Now, 2019 was such an amazing journey for the Escape Pod Cast. From our debut show, Neil and myself joining, losing Scotty, and then getting him back again, to the creation of TepCon, and getting to help awesome content creators like Going Nerdy, Biscuit Weasel, Heinze, Fighting Drunk, and so many others do what they love for the game they love. 2020 is bringing so many more amazing things to this show, and it's all thanks to each and every one of you. So thank you. That's all for me this week. Tune in next week for more story time with the Llama and the Escape Pod Cast for Kids.
Micaeus Modding Mayhem is the premier remodding service for the game that we all love, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. With some of the most affordable rates in the industry, Micaeus will rebuild your roster from top to bottom and give you consultation on where to go from there. Micaeus has a 100% satisfaction guarantee and lots of useful additional services, including a full cleanup of your mods, loadout pages, PvP plans, and more. Contact Micaeus today on Discord at all lowercase Micaeus number 0127. That's MIKAYAS number 0127, or at micaeusmods@gmail.com. Micaeus Modding Mayhem, the official remodding service of the Escape Pod Cast.
Does your guild want to tap into their full potential in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes? Yeah! For as low as $1 a month per guild member, your guild can unleash the power of the game in ways you never thought possible. Ooh. Track your arena movements, guild progression, and much, much more. Contact ShittyBill and get one of his shitty bots on your server today. Just look for him on our Discord server and tag or message him for more information. The link for our server is below in the description. Shitty bots, don't let the name fool you.
Receiving incoming transmission. Receiving incoming transmission. Receiving incoming transmission.
And welcome back to the Escape Pod cast. And yes, this is the incoming transmission. We don't exactly have a special guest. I'm essentially the special guest.
Yes, you are.
I've returned to the show.
Now,
But,
Paul, you know, what on earth is that thing sitting on your shoulder?
It's a Kowakian monkey lizard. What do you think it is? You've seen this thing
It looks
before.
like my dinner, mate. It looks like my dinner.
It is not dinner. It is not dinner.
No,
Sir.
the Mando that the Mando says they're
Even
edible.
he
This is
says,
the way.
No, not dinner.
Are you
This is
dinner?
not the way. See, no. He's saying no.
Put him in a cage, you'll be dinner. So anyway, okay, so let's. So obviously you have new toys. So obviously you got locked up for a week for a crime that you did not commit.
Exactly.
And you needed to take some time off and recuperate and get some R&R. So you went to Universal Studios and you went to the Star Wars park. So
I did.
Why don't you tell us about what you got up to at the Star Wars?
I first have to thank Deneb for making Universal happen. Him and his lovely lady helped make Universal Studios happen. They offered us a place to stay in Orlando. They got us tickets to be able to, so Christy could go see Harry Potter World. This was all stuff that in the GoFundMe that I was asking for, that if we were to surpass medical bills, which by the way, we're still low on medical bills. We still haven't been able to do that. But they did say, you know what, go ahead. We're going to we're going to get to Orlando and we'll take care of all that. And then I also won a contest for my trivia night, and they got to send me to Disney. So I got to go to both theme parks in Orlando. It was actually a lot of fun. And there I ended up, the first thing I did was I walked into we walked to Galaxy's Edge with a throng of people.
So how packed?
And
what was it like? Was it heaving?
It was crazy. So it's January 30th. Pretty much everybody's there.
You mean
at
December
6
the
in the morning.
30th?
December the 30th. Yes, thank you. Everybody's there at 6 in the morning, and we slowly made our way to Galaxy's Edge. There were some people running just so they could get in line for the Millennium Falcon ride, but we got in line through the app to be able to do Rise of Resistance. We later stood in line for Smuggler's Run, which was great. We did Star Tours, but Neil, I have to tell you, the whole experience, the cast members, as they're called at Disney, made us feel like, we were actually on Batuu. It really truly felt like we were on Batuu. And when
better than a cell though, surely.
It was certainly better than a cell, but I almost did get arrested by 2 first order officers. So,
is that something that occurs like all the time? Or is it like something that happens, hourly? So every hour they roll out some cast members, or is it is there a handful of characters from the Resistance, a handful of characters from the First Order, kind of like generally milling around so that people can get? I'm assuming that they're there for photo opportunities, so people can get selfies and stuff.
Yeah, I did. I was able to get some pictures with Kylo and with Rey. That was fun. but I was inside the shop, and I had the bag for this. For the podcast crew, I'm holding up a Savvy's Workshop lightsaber.
And what was that? What was the queue like? What was the pricing like for something like that?
You had to be in line. You had to schedule a time way in advance, like 2 weeks in advance. But I was lucky enough to get in a standby line, and the pricing is, pretty heavy. If it was my own money, I probably would not have done it. $200 for the lightsaber.
Well, it's nice that it's somebody else.
Yeah.
So what was the I'm curious to know what's included. Obviously, you can get these holidays that are all inclusive holidays. So what's included in the ticket entrance to Galaxy's Edge? So if you were to just buy your ticket, what's the kind of things? What's the kind of stuff you can do there? Just off the ticket that you had.
Yeah,
no extras.
You get a ticket only to Hollywood Studios Park. Hollywood Studios Park, at least in Disney World, is the only place that has Galaxy's Edge. You could buy a multi-park pass and take the gondolas to different parks and different resorts, or you can end up getting just a one park pass, and that's what I was able to get, was the one park pass. The saber, the droid that's sitting behind me, and I personally paid for PA Crumb here.
PA Crumb. Oh, right. Okay.
PA Crumb, yeah, not SB Crumb. It's PA Crumb. Paul Anthony Crumb.
Paul Anthony Crumb.
And it's what you can do if you don't have a ticket. You can't do the droid. You can't do, or if you only buy the ticket, you can't do the droid and you can't do the lightsaber. But you could see Star Tours. You can do there's two things where you can meet the characters or get go to a screening of stuff. By the way, there are some spoilers for season 7 of the Clone Wars at Disney right now in their little in their video.
Oh, right.
That they put on. So I've been spoiled a little bit, but I wasn't upset that I was spoiled.
Was there I'm curious, was there anything like a museum with props from previous movies?
Yes, there was a lot of that in the place where you go for the characters. There was props from Return of Skywalker. There were models that were used for the Death Star and Slave. My favorite was Slave 1, and you could actually see the little Boba figure that was in there when he was flying.
Oh, cool.
So, but
all in all, an enjoyable experience.
A very enjoyable experience. But I have to tell you, Nev, and if you do get to go, if anybody who's listening gets to go to Galaxy's Edge, get there early so you can get in line for Rise of Resistance. It is a ride unlike I've ever experienced. It is amazing. It truly is amazing. I got off that ride and just wanted to go again, but you get in line for your one time. So, did I say Return of Skywalker, Rise of Skywalker, whatever? You know what I mean.
So, what original trilogy stuff? Because obviously, if I was going, I'd want to know where all the original trilogy. So, what original trilogy attractions and stuff have they got there?
Definitely head to. It's by the Frozen Land, and they have the stuff that talks about the making of the original trilogy, the making of the prequels, the making of the new stuff. Including the video games. I mean, they also talked about the video games as well, including Fallen Order and Battlefront 2.
Oh, what? So they don't have like an area that's like prequel area, original trilogy area, where you're immersed in those eras?
Split up. You're not immersed in an era itself. Star Tours, though, definitely was. That's the one that's been around, Neil. It's been around for a while. But it was definitely prequel themed with a little bit of First Order at the very end. Mm-hmm. C-3PO and R2-D2 taking you on this fun ride.
Well, theme parks do tend to have evolutions, so
yes,
the more customer feedback that park gets, the more it will evolve to the consumer's feedback, you'd hope.
Yeah, and there was a lot of the props and toys and stuff from the prequel eras in the area away from Galaxy's Edge, which would give you, if you don't like crowds, you're perfect. I got to meet Vader. I got to meet Chewie. I didn't want to meet BB-8. I'm sorry, BB-8. But it was fun to meet Vader and Chewie, and I had a blast, especially on Rise of the Resistance. There is some animatronics, and I jokingly leaned over to Christy and said, "So this is where the Hall of Presidents went." But walking into a First Order Star Destroyer hangar and seeing upwards of, it had to be at least 30 stormtroopers all at the ready, ushering you as your well, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it was amazing.
Leave something to the imagination.
Yeah, I will leave something to the imagination and something to the experience. But I will say this: if you're going to go on Smuggler's Run, get a group of 6 people that you trust, because the 2 girls that were probably 14 and 15 that were piloting the Millennium Falcon did not understand up or down.
Yeah, that can be problematic.
I'm sorry if you're one of those 2 girls and you're watching this and you're like, "Hey, I'm sorry, you sucked at piloting the Falcon."
Go in a big group then.
Exactly. Go in a group. Well, you want to go in a group of 6 because you got 2 gunners, 2 engineers, and 2 pilots.
So, any more pearls of wisdom regarding the Galaxy's Edge, or do you fancy a bit of a break and onto the bridge?
Well, we will get to the break. I'm just going to tell you this: if you're going to go for a saber, you must book at least 3 weeks in advance. Put your tickets into the app and book your time. If you're going for the droid, you can just do a walk-up. Next to the Droid Depot is one of the best shops ever. And it's I can't remember the name of it, but it has everything from the most awesome bust of Yoda I've ever seen, to crystals, to holocrons, all the way down to the placard for a Imperial officer. You can get a placard with the buttons, and they react. And it's very cool. So let's go ahead and head to the bridge. Thank you for sharing the experience with me. Thank you to the Patreon, to Deneb and Mallory for getting us to Orlando. Thank you to the Patreons for encouraging me while I was there and giving me a few tips. A few of you also helped with that. But after this break, we've got the Patreon, the top 10 of our Patreons, and then we'll give our own of the characters that we want to see in 2020 right here on the Escape Pod Cast.
The Escape Pod Cast with Paul Anthony and Neil Andrew Ware.
Hey there, Escape Podawans. Everyone's favorite llama here to remind you that the Escape Pod Cast is on social media. That's right, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. So give us a like, give us a follow, and stay up to date on all things in-game and in the Escape Pod. Our account links are down in the description or on our Discord server in the Show Links channel. See you on the net!
Micaeus Modding Mayhem is the premier remodding service for the game that we all love, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. With some of the most affordable rates in the industry, Micaeus will rebuild your roster from top to bottom and give you consultation on where to go from there. Micaeus has a 100% satisfaction guarantee and lots of useful additional services, including a full cleanup of your mods, loadout pages, PvP plans and more. Contact Micaeus today on Discord at all lowercase Micaeus number 0127. That's MIKAYAS number 0127 or at micaeusmods@gmail.com. Micaeus Modding Mayhem, the official remodding service of the Escape Podcast.
Hey Padawans, Llama here. What do you think? Does the video look good on me? I think it does. But I'm back for a special sneak preview. I wanted to make a pretty awesome announcement. We are bringing the Escape Pod Cast for Kids to YouTube. That's right. It's getting its very own YouTube channel. All of Neil's episodes are going to be on there. All of my story times are going to be on there. All archived. Past and future episodes. We're really, really excited about it. A lot of you guys have been asking for it, to be able to look back and listen to the past story times and retain those tips. And we're really, really, really excited to be able to share this with you guys. The YouTube channel is coming soon. We're in the process of putting it all together, and we're hoping to have it out to you in the next couple of weeks. But we wanted to share it with you in this week's episode. That's all from me. Tune in next week.
Heinzie from the ANZGC is officially a member of the Escape Pod Castaways. Make sure you go and search for Heinzie on YouTube today, because he live streams a lot of his GAC content, and not only does he do that, he also does some pretty fun videos from time to time, including a behind the screen and also streaming Jedi Fallen Order. And from time to time, this idiot might drop by. Head on over and check out Heinzie today on YouTube, a part of the Escape Pod Castaways network.
The Escape Pod Cast. The Bridge.
And welcome to the bridge on the Escape Podcast, episode 46. This is it. This, our first YouTube live, and it's an honor to be able to do this. I think it's gone well so far, Nev. How about you?
Yeah, it definitely went better than the dry run earlier on.
Yes, definitely. Now, one thing I do have to want to mention. I was just informed by some of our listeners that a very good friend of the show, it's not exactly an alliance. I always joke that it's a space hippie commune. But Spitfire J lost his grandfather. I think it was today, and so the Escape Pod cast and Padawans, we all definitely want to we want to send our condolences, and our thoughts are with you, Spitfire.
Yes, absolutely. Completely and utterly extending our condolences. It always sucks when something like that happens. Always does. Not alone, buddy.
So, one of the things that we're gonna do, and did Spitfire put one in? Let me see if he put one in, because if so, I'll read his first. He did not. Okay. So our top 10 that we challenged our Patreons. This is something we're going to do. This is something that we're going to do every month for our Patreons. We're going to invite you guys to do a top 10 with us. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to read a few of the top 10s that we got, and then you're going to give your top 10, and then I'm going to give my top 10, Neil, of characters that we want to see come to this game in 2020. So, Vormax, before we begin, Vormax asks if I'm going to stream my GAC rounds now that I got a show live on YouTube. Maybe. I did consider it. I called it the journey to the surface. No.
Took quite some time and quite a bit of cajoling for me to convince Paul to try this format. Switching from Discord to YouTube. I mean, both Discord and YouTube have their pros and cons, and you can have audio issues with Discord. You can have both audio and visual issues with YouTube, but there's a I don't know. There's just something different. There's just something different about YouTube or any kind of format such as YouTube. Whether it's YouTube or Twitch or Mixer or DLive, there's just something different.
I also don't like this, but
See, I don't have any problems with this.
Yeah, you've got a face for days. I've got a face for radio. Okay, so that's why Scotty and I never wanted to do that, because we're radio guys. We don't want to be seen. We just want to entertain with the tone.
Well, yeah, but even radio people broadcast their shows live on the internet these days.
Yeah, well, they're crazy.
So anyway, this list, the Patreon list. What have we got in this list?
One of our good friends, Santos, sent in his top 10 characters, and I'm going to give him his honorable mention. He wants to see Delta Squad, but he wants to see Zori Bliss, Queel, Cara Dune, IG-11, Din Djarin, BD-1, Cal Kestis, Proxy, Juno Eclipse, and Starkiller / Galen Merrick. What do you think about those? Let's get into this real quick. I'm very glad that he did not put a Baby Yoda on this list. The child does not belong in this game as a character that you gear and farm, in my opinion. If he was summoned by Din Djarin, spoiler alert, the Mandalorian, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the child being summoned by Din Djarin and being a non-combatant, a la Wat Tambor and
Hermit Yoda.
Yes.
C-3PO. Like a C-3PO or a Hermit Yoda.
Exactly. What are you thinking on that?
I can see that. I mean, as much as I love Baby Yoda in the game, you kind of wonder what he would do, and it's not like they ever decide. It's not like they put an episode what. It's not like they'd ever put an episode 1 Anakin Skywalker in it. So why would you put a Baby Yoda in? But I would like to see. If we are talking characters from the Mandalorian, I wouldn't mind having the director's squadron. I wouldn't mind having the director's squadron in as those 3 X-wings, and have the 3 directors. A Dave Filoni X-wing pilot in the game would be very, very, very amusing.
How about a Jon Favreau? What was it? Paz Vizsla? No, Paz Vizsla was in Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
There was another Vizsla that was in Mandalorian.
Because the character icon for the Dave Filoni character, he'd have to be in the X-wing jumpsuit with his helmet under his arm and a cowboy hat on.
Yeah, that or Porkins.
That or Porkins, yes. But no, right. I think that's a very, very worthy top 10. I'd love to see some of those characters in for sure. Cara Dune, definitely. Oh, yeah.
So
new Buffy.
we have Australian Nev puts in his Maul Clone Wars, so I'm guessing he's talking Robolegs Maul. Grand Inquisitor, BB-9E, Return of the Jedi Luke, Second Sister, Marin, Clone Medic, Clone Commando, Separatist Commando Droid, which we've already seen in the Light Side TB, and Darth Malgus.
Mm.
What do you think about Darth Malgus being included in this list? And by the way,
we've
one
got
other thing for the YouTube people. I am drinking blue milk.
We've got. I'm not averse to having more Dark Lords of the Sith in. Not at all. I think it's quite good, actually. I would just, I suppose I would, I quite like the idea of having the light side version of them in before then introducing in the their turn to the dark side, if you catch my drift. Like to me, and obviously I'm giving away 2 of my top 10, I would like to see Jason Solo in, and then I'd like to see him come in as his, as his Dark Lord of the Sith character. That's just me. But yeah, no, I'm not adverse to something. I'm not adverse to more Darths being in the game at all. I would prefer them to show some more love to the light side, and I know Jedi Master Adastra would love to. I mean, yeah, sure, we've got Kiana-Mundi and we've got Shaq T, and they are brilliant. Well, we don't know how good Kiana-Mundi is yet, but he's probably going to be as OP as Shaq T was. Probably going to get another Mace Windu. That's one of the ones on my top 10 list.
You don't think he's going to get a rework? You think we're going to get Clone Wars Windu instead of?
I can, yeah. I just think that there's more money in it for them if they make another one. I mean, they didn't rework bitch Anakin to be over the top
General
OP.
Skywalker.
They just decided, well, we'll just bring in a boss Anakin, and we'll make people pay through the nose in order to get him. And I can see at the end of, when they transition back out from episode 9 and they transition back to that final period of Clone Wars, because I think there will be one more period this year where they introduce some final either Clone Wars era characters or do some final tweaking of Galactic Republic characters, and then that'll be it. That era done and dusted, and then they'll move on to other eras, and they'll move on to other factions. Because we really need.
Will that make light side territory battles even palpable? Then is that what you're saying? That we'll finally get a palpable light side territory battles?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
because of a galactic rework,
I think that one of the easiest ways for them to make it easier is to do some heavy reworks of the Galactic Republic and throw in a couple more Galactic Republic Clone Wars era characters. And I just think, Uber boss Mace Windu would just be the icing on the cake. I really, really do think that something like him with awesome leadership that just throws bonus on top of bonus on top of bonus onto whatever Jedi are underneath him would be, more than adequate to allow people to just, go into that first stage of the light side GOTB and breeze through it and think to themselves, why didn't we have this now? Why have we had to wait 4 months for this? I'm not suggesting for a second.
Or longer, in my opinion. So I'm going to really quick go down 10 pools because he kind of was trolling with us here. 10 pool wants C-3PX, Jackson, the Gonk Power Droid, Porkins, Sidian Ithano, Crumb, Baby Yoda, Carbonite Han, Slave Leia, and Jabba.
Yeah, no, that's a decent list.
Sephiroth wants Pons, a clone medic, or Kix, as Hellenix points out. Tarful, Super Sith Palpatine, Allegiant General Pride. That would be cool.
Yes.
That would be cool. Delta Squad. Sephiroth puts Hondo Onaka at 5. Aten Rand, the Child, and Din Djarin at 3 and 2. And Mitra Surik. Boss Man says Black Christianian, Dr. Afra. That is definitely on my list. Satil Shan, Marin, Grand Inquisitor, Jabba, Din Djarin, Darth Bane, General Organa, and you're going to be happy about Boss, Mara Jade.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That red-headed vixen.
Zaz essentially... Zaz put his up saying, make droids great again. B2 heavy assault droid, B1 command droid, B1 sniper droid, B2 rocket droid, that droid from the new Star Wars game, Dio, that brick-shaped droid you see zooming around the Death Star, that would be a mouse droid. Interrogation droid, BB-9E, and IG-11. If IG-11 comes to this game, he must be like IPD and initiate self-destruct. A lot other ones that made lists. Plasma did mention a rework mace, and he wants a Hermit Luke along with he says General Hoth.
General Hoth.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out too. But he wants also Xana. Zed wants Quinn and Xian. I know you don't like them.
I didn't like their character. No, look, I mean, by all means, throw the characters in the game. It was their on-screen presence that was jarring to me from the episode. Right. But like I said, that's nothing to do with the actor or the actresses. I mean, I love the actress. I thought she was great in Harry Potter, and I thought she was great in Game of Thrones. So a lot of appreciation for the actress. I just think the way that the way that she was directed to play that character, to me it was too much like an annoying cat. Too many tongue rolls, too many hisses. It's like every time she did it, it pulled me out of the immersion of the episode, and that was right. And Quinn as well. I just did not like. Maybe that was the intention. Maybe the intention was to create two characters that were thoroughly unlikable. People that you want to dislike them, you want to hate them, and I did dislike
just
them.
Like as we talked to Thaddeus about Jason Sudeikis and Andy Pale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
You don't like those.
No, we don't
Jason
like them.
Sudeikis is now the most hated character in Star Wars. Go listen to Talking Mando for information on that on Going Nerdy's channel, part of the Escape Pod Castaways network.
Mm-hmm.
Zed also continues with Cara Dune, Fennec Shand, IG-11. She essentially gave us the entire great cast list.
Mm-hmm.
I did like Xian, but me and teeth.
Got to have Werner Herzog in there.
She did not put the client in there.
The client's got to be in there. Werner Herzog was excellent in that show.
And then she also mentions Scorch, Sev, Boston Fixer. And then Hondo, Jabba, and Mandalorian, or Din Djarin. Or a dual-wielding Anakin. That's what Boss Man also wants to see.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, go ahead with yours.
Okay. So mine's. I'm actually repeating a lot of what people have already said. So Mara Jade Skywalker.
We knew we would.
Mara Jade Skywalker, Jaina Solo, Jason Solo, and Darth Caedus, obviously, is Dark Lord, when he goes to the dark side. Corran Horn, obviously Jedi Knight Luke, Hermit Luke, and General Solo. The reason why I want a Hermit Luke and a General Solo is because I also want a veteran Lando, so that we can have a veteran squad led by General Solo. I think that would be an awesome 5-man faction team. And then last but not least, Admiral Palon. And I think he needs to be in there because Grand Admiral Thrawn is in there, and I think it'd be awesome to have a bit of synergy with his old canon second in command.
Admirable, definitely admiral. Now, my top 10 list mentioned some that weren't actually mentioned here, Nev. We do have Din Djarin and IG-11. I put those as number 10 and number 9.
You love IG-11.
I do love IG-11,
him.
and I did cry. Number 8 for me is Jabba the Hutt with the whole mechanic that I talked about with Carrie, where the whole summoning thing. He could summon a Kowakian monkey lizard. He could summon Crumb to do the attacks, and he would be a non-combatant, if you will.
I'd love to see Jabba summon a random bounty hunter, and you have no idea who he's going to summon. Could be Jabba, could be Greedo, could be Jabba could summon Greedo or Bosk or Bob, just any random any random bounty hunter. I think that would be an awesome character and ability. But yeah, summon Crumb to laugh in their faces.
Right. Now the we do have the B1 command droid coming in at number 7 for me. Number 6, you actually said it, veteran Lando. I would love to see a veteran Lando in this game. I want to see, and I think this is going to happen, I would like to see a Zori Bliss. Zori Bliss was my was one of my favorite ancillary characters of this new trilogy. But you don't know about that yet. How many times have you almost gone and seen it?
I've almost gone and seen it every single weekend now. But something more important has always come up. Right, the dishes
number 5,
or laundry.
I always seem to be coming up with all these characters that are non-combatants that I would love to see it. But a non-combatant for droids that would be excellent in this game that sadly, Nev, you don't know about, Babu Frick.
I know about the character.
Okay. I would love to see Babu Frick.
This is the character that was put in the film purely for merchandising reasons. Because it's cute.
Well, I mean, he took care of the whole thing that they were trying to do with C-3PO.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I'll say without going into too much spoilers. Number 4, and this will show you how much that I actually was thinking about active in the game. Number 4 for me is Queel. IG-11 ranked lower than Queel for me.
Mm-hmm.
I would absolutely love to see Queel. My number 3, it's not fan service to you, my friend. I would also like to see Mara Jade.
Mm-hmm.
I truly would.
Yeah. Queel would be quite good. I think Queel, a special for Queel would be a blurb charge. So you select, and he jumps on us and just charges at whoever he's attacking. That would be a very cool attack.
Yeah. And then my number 2 would be a rework Phasma. Rework her to resistance level. And my number 1, and will always be my number 1, Hondo Ohnaka. I want to see Hondo in this game. Honorable mention, I want to see Rook.
Good list. Very, very good list.
So, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for stopping by this first episode of the year. This first episode on YouTube. Pop into our Discord channel. Our Discord channel is you can see. I believe it's on the Patreon. Hop into our Discord channel. Tell us what you thought. Tell us what you liked. Tell us what you didn't like. We absolutely are looking to take this to the next level, and without you guys there is no us, and without that, there is no show.
I mean, we're gonna go talk to people in Patreon chat after the show anyway, aren't we? We're still gonna go. Doing the after show.
We have the after show. If you want to become a Patreon, we're live right now. Patreon.com/theescapepod. And you can go in. Actually, I think I might actually have that wrong on the thing. Shoot. Let me look it up here in a second. Oh no, it is patreon.com/theescapepod. Woo, close. Patreon.com/theescapepod. You can join our after show on our Discord, and we would love to see you guys there. With that also being said, thank you to all our Patreons. We have a special way that we're going to thank you every single week now. And if you want to get included in this list that's coming up, you have to be a Patreon by 10 p.m. Thursday. Is that what we agreed on, Nev?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
10 p.m. on Thursday for you to be able to make the
change, make the additions. Yep, absolutely.
Excellent. And guys, it's been a pleasure. Any last words before I go into my little spiel?
No. I just I've been, thank you for watching. I'm sorry for not being so responsive and vocal to the questions. I barely see them. I've got lots and lots of buttons to push, but if you have any questions for me, you can ask me them over on Discord in the Patreon chat after the show. But thank you for tuning in. Thanks for making this this first foray for the Escape Podcast into YouTube an enjoyable one.
It was certainly enjoyable. With that being said, thank you to the Patreons, and thank you to all that have inspired us. The crew behind the scenes, Helenix, Zed, and Llama as our YouTube admins, and to every single guest, past and present, that has ever come on and made us to where we are today. We thank you very much, and I remind you all to be nice to each other, damn it. And Nev, literally this time, push the button.
You got it, mate. Ta-ta for now, folks.
What's going on? Where the hell are we? Paris?
Thank you for pressing the self-destruct button.
Attention! This is Colonel Sanders in forward command. Abandon ship! Abandon ship! All personnel proceed to escape pods. Close down the circuits. Evacuate the saloon. Self-destruct mechanism has been activated. Abandon ship! Where is it? Where is it? It's gonna be here. Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works.
This ship will self-destruct in exactly 10 seconds. Counting down. 10, 9, 8, 6.
6? What happened to 7?
Just kidding. 3, 2, 1. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. The Escape Podcast was filmed in front of a live studio audience full of tweaked out murder bears.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.